Good morning, good morning, good morning to all my family and friends out in YouTube world. This is your boy Strong, emotionally strong, mentally strong, physically strong, making another video for those who follow my videos. This video is about time, calculating the time in the months. So we have a calendar that we go by. We are in the month of May. On the Gregorian calendar. That's the Gregorian calendar. That's pretty much the calendar that everybody uses. We have the Gregorian calendar, and we have the Jewish calendar. Then we have, which I guess Gregorian calendar is the Christian calendar. I don't know how it relates to that. Then you have the Jewish calendar, and then we have the Most High's calendar. Now, most people that know the Gregorian calendar, month, Sunday through Saturday is the week. You got so many days of the month, January, February, March, April, May. Then you got the Jewish calendar, which consists of 12 months, but the months are different. This month is actually the first month of the year, the Abib month. And if you notice, this month we had a full moon, which was on the 7th of this month, 2020, of April. That was the full moon, which was the first day of the first year starting of a new year with this month. So we just started a new year by the Most High's calendar. And with the Most High's calendar, you don't need any other calendars. It goes from full moon to full moon. Every full moon is which what we call as a full moon, is the beginning or the first day of a new month. They confuse us with everything in history. They call it the new moon, which the new moon is when the moon is full of darkness. And the new moon is when the moon is full of light. So we call it the full moon, but it's actually the new moon. So we are at a perfect time to start using the Most High calendar. Like I said, it's April on the 7th. We had our first new moon, which we call a full moon. And it was the first day of the new year. So now we know that with the full moon being the first day of the year, we just started a new year. You can calculate every moon, full moon, for every new month. And then the moon goes through its cycles of waning and waxing, and that has to do with the amount of light that is on the moon. Alright? So when the moon makes its total cycle, you're in a new month. Now, I grew up in a public education system, and they told me, or they taught us, that the shape of the light on the moon is in reference of where the earth is compared to where the sun is that's shining the light on the moon, which is false, because the entire day of any day that the moon is out, it keeps the same shape of light. No matter where the earth is, no matter where the sun is, the moon will have its phase of light. It won't change for that day. It will not change until the next day. So apparently what they taught us about where the earth is and where the sun is what gives the lighting on the moon is not true, or the moon will have different lighting as the day goes on or the night goes on. It will be more filled or less filled because the sun is moving and the earth is moving. But if you look at the moon, you see that it has its phase, and its phase is for that day. Even if you look up the phases of the moon, you can look up what phase of the moon is going to be next week, and when that weekday comes, it'll have that phase the entire day. So the knowledge that the moon lighting is based upon where the earth is and the sun is that gives the light onto the moon is false. The Most High gave us the sun so we can tell the time of the day. You can see where the sun comes up in the east and falls in the west, or maybe it comes up in the west and falls in the east. I can't remember which one it is. But it comes up in one side and falls in the other side. As it comes up and falls, you can determine what hour of the day it is by the sun. But when it comes to the moon and the cycle and phases of the moon, that is how the Most High recorded his months. So every full moon, which is actually the new moon, is the beginning of the new month. That's how the months get its name. Okay, so you don't need a Gregorian calendar, you don't need a Jewish calendar, you don't need any calendar but the Most High. You look up at the moon, and if it is full, it is the first day full of light. It is the first day of that month. It goes through its cycles where it's waning until it is fully dark. That is half the month over, and then it's waxing to where the light goes back until it's full of light again in its waxing phase to end the month or start the new month. And we are lucky to be able to have this knowledge in the beginning of the year. Because if this is the first month, the first full moon, you can count 12 full moons to give you the 12 months, and you can know yourself without ever looking at a calendar or anything of what day and what month you are in the year. Okay? This is just a little knowledge of wisdom that was given to me by the Most High. And I am sharing that knowledge to all my brethren out there, my melanated brothers and sisters, my Israelite brothers and sisters, and my blood brothers and sisters out in this world. You don't need the Gregorian calendar, you don't need the Jewish calendar, you don't need anything on paper. You go out and you look at the moon, and you can tell what day it is of the month. Full moon start the new month. The full dark moon, when it's all shaded, is half the month through. Waning and waxing means the lessening of the light and the increasing of the light on the moon. Start using these days, get acquainted with the months and the days using the moon and the sun, because soon we won't have calendars printed out for us probably. But not only that, you want the wisdom. You want the wisdom to know what day and what month you are in, according to the Most High. Because even with this moon and this being a new year, a lot of people celebrated the Passover this month, which you are supposed to celebrate the 14th day of the first month. And I think we celebrated it on the 8th of this month. On the Gregorian calendar, we celebrated the day after the new moon, which would have been the first or the second day of the month. But on the Gregorian calendar, it was the 8th day of the month. But in Most High's word, it says celebrate it on the 14th day. So using the moon as the first day of the year, you can count 14 days from the first fully lit up moon and know that you are on the right day. And not celebrate it and think you're doing the right thing. If, I'm going to celebrate the Passover and I'm going to do it like they tell me to do it on the wrong day, then you're not really celebrating the Passover if you're on the wrong day, if you're on the wrong week of unleavened bread. So use the moon, which was fully filled on the 7th of this month, and count that as day 1. You count 14 days from that, and you will be on the Most High's calendar of when to celebrate the Passover and the week of unleavened bread. Also, along with all the rest of the holy feast days, and the Sabbath day, which is on Saturday instead of Sunday. This is just a little knowledge of how to calculate your time and your months using the sun and the moon like we were supposed to as Israelites, or just earthly people, melanated people. Once again, this is your boy, Strong, emotionally strong, mentally strong, and physically strong, coming to you with just a little more information from the Most High, so you can calculate your days and your months and celebrate your festivals on the actual days that you're supposed to. Peace.